the Silver Arrows have started the 2023 season on the back foot by their standards, having initially hoped to re-enter the World Championship picture this year, following a 2022 season spent largely fighting against a porpoising W13. They were given hope for what this year might bring by finishing the season strongly, with a 1-2 finish at Interlagos led by George Russell, bringing Mercedes their only victory of 2022. However, with Red Bull in such dominant form this season, Mercedes and the rest of the field are playing catch-up, and team principal Toto Wolff ordered significant changes to the W14 earlier in the season. Trackside engineering director Andrew Chauvelin has now revealed that the team knew as early as the Bahrain testing period that they would not be able to compete for the championship this season, and that the upgrades for next weekend's Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix have been in the works for several months. Wolff has been quick to point out that he has never seen a magic bullet in terms of gaining significant lap time with a single upgrade package, but Chauvelin explained that what Mercedes will show at Imola is just the start of a different development direction for the team. Well, if we go all the way back to the Bahrain test and the Bahrain race, that was where we realised that we didn't have a package that was going to allow us to fight for a world championship, Chauvelin said, and if we continue on that same development direction, we wouldn't end up in a position where we felt we could challenge Red Bull. So it was around this time that we took some decisions on how we develop the car, how the car works aerodynamically, how we shape the characteristics of the car, so how it is in terms of handling. With everyone at Mercedes working tirelessly on upgrades since Bahrain, the pressure is now on everyone to deliver at Imola, especially after what we saw in Florida. The nasty piece of work W14 went from a 1-2 in FP1 to the team narrowly avoiding a double QT elimination, with George Russell scraping into the final segment by 0.05 seconds. The car came alive in the race, as Hamilton put it, with Russell crossing the line in 4th place, and Hamilton recovering from 13th on the grid to finish 6th. The teammates, however, were 33 and 51 seconds behind race winner Max Verstappen, with Hamilton claiming that Mercedes Imola upgrades would need to add at least a second per lap to the car. The fact that he almost immediately conceded that this will not happen should give you an idea of the monumental task Mercedes faces. In fact, Toto Wolff believes the team's first major upgrade of the championship will be worth less than half a second. Calling it a good new baseline from which the team will continue to develop, he told the media, "We have to be careful that we have our expectations under control. I don't think we'll get there and suddenly we're half a second faster and in the middle of a fight. We won't. But we are now laying a new foundation and at least taking some issues off the table that we believe are contributing to us being too slow. Let's see what that brings." Russell has also tempered expectations, admitting that the team's deficit to Red Bull is enormous, with even Fernando Alonso's Aston Martin faster than the W14. This is not good news for Lewis Hamilton. Hamilton had planned for 2022 to be an exception, as he went an entire season without a win for the first time in his Formula 1 career, but Mercedes has also had a rocky start to the F1 2023 season. The W14 has returned Mercedes to their position at this point in 2022, where their challenger is really a threat to the pace setters, which this time is a very Red Bull exclusive club. That has left Hamilton with a massive task if he is to even be considered for the F1 2023 title, with the carrot of a record 8th World Championship dangling in front of him. Meanwhile, Hamilton's teammate George Russell has outperformed him in one lap qualifying this season, going 4-1 against his legendary compatriot. Hamilton is in the final year of his current Mercedes contract, and while he's expected to sign a new deal soon, that doesn't mean things can't quickly deteriorate. Toto Wolff wants to keep Hamilton and Russell after this season, and believes Hamilton's commitment is merely a formality, stating that he is certain Hamilton will continue. But one statement from the Austrian team boss should concern Mercedes and Hamilton fans. When discussing the possibility of the Brit leaving, Wolff has left the door open for Hamilton to join another team in a couple of years. As a driver, nevertheless, if he wants to win another championship, he needs to make sure that he has the car. And if we cannot demonstrate that we're able to give him a car in the next couple of years, then he needs to look everywhere. I don't think he's doing it at that stage, but I will have no grouch if that happens in a year or two. Wolff's slightly different framing of his usual answer about Hamilton's future, implying that Hamilton may have to be selfish and leave, is most likely a genuine and quite compassionate acceptance that Hamilton must do what is best for him. For years it has been a given that staying with Mercedes means staying with Mercedes. However, as it continues to lag behind Red Bull and other teams in this ground effect aero era, that may not be the case in the long run. Hamilton declared ahead of the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix weekend that he will win again in F1, and it is clear that his loyalty is with Mercedes, and his motivation to help the team win the World Championship again appears to be absolute. But his patience has been put to the ultimate test since joining the team. Last year marked the first time he failed to win a race in a season with Mercedes, and indeed in his entire career, and Mercedes does not appear to be a more competitive prospect than the season opener in Bahrain. Hamilton's decision to leave McLaren at the end of 2012 and sign with Mercedes proved to be a masterstroke for the Brit, who has added 6 more World Championship titles to his maiden 2008 title with Mercedes, tying with Michael Schumacher's record of 7 overall. The records for most race wins, podiums and pole positions among others do though belong exclusively to Hamilton. Claiming a record-breaking 8th championship, however, is proving difficult for Hamilton, with Mercedes unable to provide him with a race-winning, let alone championship-winning car. To be fair, that is the case for any team other than Red Bull right now, but ex-F1 team boss Eddie Jordan believes Hamilton should take the plunge again and reinvent himself away from Mercedes. My only concern is that Lewis has to find something else in his mojo now, and he needs to get out of there, said Jordan. He needs to move on just like he did when he was with McLaren. Get out of Mercedes, Lewis. It's time you reinvented yourself somewhere else. Currently, all signs point to Hamilton staying with Mercedes, but if he does decide to change teams or retire from Formula 1, it appears the team already has their future star in the form of George Russell. But that can be a double-edged sword, as Lewis will be looking to assert himself as the #1 driver in the team now that he has some stiff competition. An ex-F1 racer, David Coulthard, expects a tough battle between the two. Coulthard also believes that Russell's ability to drive with relative freedom benefits him, whereas Hamilton has additional baggage to carry, such as frustration with his underwhelming W14 and negotiations over his Mercedes contract extension. But when Hamilton has a car which is talking to him once more, Coulthard expects Russell will find out exactly why Hamilton is a record-equaling 7-time world champion. George is just sort of constantly there. This is the best car he's ever driven, so he's not caught up with the baggage of Lewis trying to figure it out. Am I resigning for another year? Can I win another world championship? So there's a lot more on his plate. George is doing a brilliant job. He is an absolute asset for the team. That's not to say Lewis isn't doing a brilliant job. It just means that the car isn't talking to him right now, and when it does, expect him to be showing George why he won 7 world championships. Nonetheless, with Mercedes revealing an upgrade package for this weekend's race at Imola that Hamilton admits he's been counting the days to, all eyes will be on what the Silver Arrows bring to the Italian race. Will they make a miraculous comeback, or will we have to play catch-up for even more grueling months? That's up to the folks back in Brackley. For now, we wait. What are your thoughts? Is Russell threatening Lewis Hamilton's position as Mercedes' #1 driver? Will Hamilton be looking to switch teams anytime soon? Let us know down below, and thanks for watching. And if you enjoyed the video, make sure to like, subscribe, and ring the bell to be notified when we upload. Peace!